Okay, everyone, we are now ready for Unit 4. Unit 4 is graphing on a Cartesian coordinate plane. So let's write down that word, Cartesian coordinate plane. Up until now, all of our algebra has been done with one variable. Usually we use the letter x, although any letter can be used you want to. Basically, you're talking about a line that doesn't have up or down. It's one-dimensional. Now when we start talking about a Cartesian coordinate plane, we are moving into two dimensions. So we're talking about height and line, length, width, up, down, left, right, sideways. And so now we're going to be able, instead of having flat lines as we did before, not in this class, but in a lot of algebra classes, we would have done flat lines. Now we're going to be talking about lines that have slant to them. And so this whole unit is about the Cartesian coordinate plane and dealing with more than one direction. And so these equations are going to have two variables, and there's a number of different ways we can write those. But first of all, we need to learn something about the Cartesian coordinate plane. So that is where we're going to start. The Cartesian coordinate plane is made up of a horizontal line and a vertical line. The vertical line is called the y-axis. The horizontal line is called the x-axis. These two axes divide the space into four regions or four quadrants. And the first quadrant is up on the upper right. It is quadrant number 1. In counterclockwise direction, we have quadrant 2. And then in the lower left, you have quadrant 3. And in the lower right, you have quadrant 4. And so these quadrants describe where you are in relationship to the x-axis and the y-axis. The center where these two lines intersect is called the origin. And the ordered pair that expresses that origin is the ordered pair 0, 0. In other words, no up or down and no left or right movement. If you move from the origin to the right, you're moving in the positive direction. If you move from the origin to the left, you're going negative. The origin up, again, is positive. The origin down is negative. And so you have different quadrants have different signs. Every ordered pair must be begun with a parentheses and ended with a parentheses. The first number in the ordered pair is the x, and the second number in the ordered pair is the y. And so if I have something like 2, 3, ordered pair 2, 3, this means I'm going to move from the origin 2 units to the right, and then I'm going to move up 3 units. And that's how an ordered pair functions. Horizontal movement, then vertical movement. And so every one of these quadrants carries signs in their ordered pair. The first quadrant, because you're to the right of the origin and you're above the origin, both the x and the y will be positive. So if you put a point in here that has a negative for one of those numbers, you know you have made a mistake. In quadrant 2, since you're left of the origin, the x value is negative and the y value is now positive because you're above the x-axis or above the origin. In quadrant number 3, your x is negative and your y also is negative. We're left and below. Quadrant number 4, we're right of the origin, so we're positive, but we're below the origin, making negative. So that shows you the signs that have to be there in every ordered pair that we do. So we're going to put little hatch marks on here, and then we're going to talk about some specific examples of certain kinds of specialized ordered pairs. We've already talked about the origin. That is your 0, 0 ordered pair. And it's right there where they two intersect. Now, if we have a 2, 0 ordered pair, this is called an x-intercept. And the reason it is an x-intercept is because it is on the x-axis. So the 2 says move from the origin 2 to the right, and there is no up or down movement. So therefore you stop right there. And that gives you your ordered pair 2, 0. And notice exactly as I said, it is on the x-axis, therefore it is an x-intercept. The other kind we can have that's special is 0. Let's do a -3 this time, okay? This means no left-right movement, and then we're going to go down 3. No left-right, down 3 puts us right here. And this ordered pair is 0, -3. And this one here was 2, 0. So this one is your y-intercept because it is on the y-axis. Okay, at this point, if you have not printed out your homework for this particular assignment, please put this on pause and please go print it because you're going to need it for the rest of the lecture. Okay, the first part of this that we're going to get into now is you are going to be given some ordered pairs and you're going to graph those ordered pairs. So let's draw another XY axis here. This one is X, and this one is Y, and it takes a little time, but we're going to have to mark it. And the very first thing you were asked to do in your homework, we're going to do it together. You have been given various ordered pairs, -6, 0, and then we have 6, 0, and then 6, 4, I think it was, and then -6, 4, and then back to -6, 0. And what I want you to do is these are to be done in this order. So on the graph paper that you have printed out, you will be able to plot these points with me. So 2, 4, here is -6, 0. Over here is 6, 0. And then 2, 4. Up here would be 6, 4. And -6, 4. So those are the 4 points that we are going to graph. Now we're going to connect those points. This one was number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, and number 5 is back where we started. So let's connect them. And when we connect them, we see that we will have a shape. Now, the very first part of your assignment is going to be exactly that kind of work. You are going to take, and I have given you the spring picture, and you're going to graph that spring picture. You will notice that it has a line of ordered pairs that say graph them and connect them according to order, starting with 1 through however many. It's like a dot to dot. So you're going to work it as a dot to dot. And you're going to do that. And then you're going to do the second set, and you're going to graph them in order according to what is written down. And I have different colors on it, so that you can see you're going to end up with some kind of spring pattern. And I think you'll enjoy it. At Christmas time I have a Christmas pattern, and now we've got a spring pattern, so that those of you who have never graphed ordered pairs before can become very adept at it. And if you don't end up with a picture that makes sense, it means you've made a mistake. Another thing about graphing ordered pairs, say we want some kind of a curve to our pattern. So we might graph an ordered pair that runs like this, and then this, and this, and then this, and here. Now notice, if we draw a straight line, something is left out. No matter how we draw that straight line, there will be points left out. So what they're wanting you to do, instead of doing a jerky plot points like that, they're wanting you to round it out like a curve. And that will happen on part of what you're going to be doing on your graphing that you will be doing. You're going to end up with some kind of a curve. And so you can connect the points, but connect them in light pencil so that then you can round them out with your color. And I recommend that you do color because it's going to be a spring picture. So keep that in mind. And that's the first part of the assignment that you're going to be doing on this one.